Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Kobe Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Kobe Owens.
And welcome to The Source. Kobe, you took some time off. You was missing in action last week. You know, I want to do it on the air. Where are you all over the world at? I mean, what happened?
So I was here in Wilmington. We had our annual breakfast for work, and then completely slipped my mind what day the breakfast was in the day we usually film. So I do apologize for that. I am glad to be back. But I know we have some pressing news to talk about.
We do. And before we go to that pressing news, I just want to say, you know, I was trying to throw the weight on you because I could have still did the show, but I sort of like throw it all on him, like the Democrats and Republicans going against each other. So I guess that's a bit where we did this, but I'm glad that we're back this week. And you're right, we do have some pressing news. Now, we had a very quiet couple of weeks. And just last week, we had 6 shootings, and one was 5 at one time right down the street from the police station.
Yeah, so unfortunately, on Friday, November the 7th, in the 400 block of East 4th Street, again, right around the corner from the police station, a little after 10 p.m., there was a shooting that resulted in a 35-year-old woman, a 28-year-old woman, a 40-year-old male, a 56-year-old male, and a 60-year-old male, all being transported to the hospital, all in stable condition, but all with gunshot wounds and injuries. So again, it's very concerning because we were on a trend. We saw a little uptick during the summer. We're still under what we were the prior year. But again, when you have mass shootings like this, it's always very concerning. As of right now, there's still no additional details. I know the officers it's an open investigation to try to figure out what led to this. But again, I will be following this one very closely, especially with such a varying of age ranges in that as well too.
Yeah.
But hopefully the community can come together and
yeah, but what was really shocking though, it was right down the street from the police department. And
yeah,
I don't know whether well, I can't say it's like people are kind of bold, but the age range it was almost like a family affair. That's what I was sitting there thinking. You know, what could have happened, but no one has no real detailed information at this point. So we're just going to have to keep following that to see where it is. And then we also had another one that happened last week as well.
Yeah, a double shooting that happened on Sunday in the 1400 block of Northeast Boulevard. That was a 23-year-old man was shot and transported to the hospital in stable condition, and a 26-year-old man was shot and taken to the hospital in critical condition.
Yeah.
Again, the police found 16 shell casings on the scene, and the car was left running in the car that they were in. That also remains under investigation. And again, that happened around 8:30 Sunday night.
Yeah. Now, you said the car of the person who was shot, or the car of one of the suspects?
One of the people shot.
Okay. Yeah. I just and what section of the city was that in?
Northeast, Governor Prince area.
Okay. So this was that what district is that?
3rd district.
3rd district. Okay. All right. Well, I just hope and trust that this is just a little coincidence, and it just happened, that we don't get no uptick in the whole violence, because we've been on a very, very positive trend. And it's interesting because on Saturday morning, I go to the barbershop, and I saw a whole squad of police officers with shotguns. And I was asking the people in the barbershop, what is going on? They're saying they're starting to really uptick, making sure that they hand all tips they get, they're just dealing with them. And that could be why we see a downtick in the violence, because they're just really on it real strongly. So I don't know. Have you seen a lot of like it was like 30 of them, and they had like a squad car and all. That was really
No, something must be going on.
early. Well, it was early in the morning too.
Yeah.
You still sleeping, you up all night long and all that good stuff. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to say, because I was really impressed with the governor's response to the shutdown.
Yes.
And I know you're going to talk about in your segment that the government seemed like it's coming to an end. But I thought that his food stamp program was pretty good. What was he
Yeah,
gonna do?
honestly, it was smart. It is smart how he's doing it, right? So again, the governor has decided that while the government shut down and why food stamps are not being distributed from the federal level, that the state will take on Delaware's recipients, which is about 168,000 individuals. But instead of paying that all out in one big lump sum money, because the government may open back up and we will not be reimbursed for any of that money, he has decided to do it weekly based. So 25% of whatever you would normally get in a month will be released every Friday.
Excellent.
Usually around noonish. You should see the balance when you call your card or check your card. You'll see the balance of that 25% going in. So again, if you, and this is just throwing out a number, if you receive $100 a month, you would get $25 week one, which would have been November the 7th, week two, November the 14th, November the 21st, November the 28th. You'll get $25 each one of those days. If the government opens up in the meantime, you'll get your full month's payment from the government, and you'll have an extra whatever from the state.
That was one other question I was going to ask you. They will not have to get that money back. That's excellent. And it seems like we've done well in conserving our funds, or being conservative with our funds, because for him to be able to do that, I think it's just remarkable, given the shortfalls that we've been experiencing.
So it's that money didn't come out of nowhere. They are pulling money from projects. Some of that money is coming from the parking garage project that they were planning to do down at Leg Hall. So again, they had to find the money, but I think the governor and the entire General Assembly Democratic leadership down there all worked together on this to get this done. And I just want to say, even though everyone may not get along all the time, I think they all came together and recognized how important of an issue this was, that this wasn't time to have little petty spats back and forth.
Maybe we need to have more of this, because honestly, I've never seen something come together so quickly and so efficiently.
Yeah,
and that's why I was very impressed. So for those of you who are watching us, and you unlike other states, Delaware took care of its residents. And I think that's just phenomenal. And I'm very hats off to the governor, leadership. We know there were others involved in it. I don't want to seem like he was the only person who did it, but the leadership to be able to do such a thing was really, really remarkable. Another thing I wanted to bring up is the new Congresswoman from who was sworn in about on Wednesday, I guess it was. And she gave a phenomenal address, short. She did it both in Spanish as well as in English. But she basically said, I come to make sure that there's a check on Donald Trump. I think I don't know.
I will say that she definitely brings the spirit of her father, who was in the seat prior to his passing, and has been a long fighter for civil rights and equal justice in this nation. Even when he was ill, even when he was dealing with his cancer and everything. And I know she had that same energy when she was on the local level back in Arizona. And I'm glad to see she's keeping that on the federal level. But again, she's the 218th vote when it comes to releasing the Epstein files. That's why they delayed this so much. And it has been over 54 days since the House has been in session. So they are in session as of Wednesday, and they are fighting right now on whether not to pass the Senate's legislation that will reopen the government.
Now you said earlier, I got two parts to that. You said earlier that you believe that they are going to reopen opening government. I know you're going to talk about it in your segment, but I don't know why I'm getting a sneaky suspicion that there may be some Republicans who may be voting not to reopen it.
Yeah, there's some that are not happy with the proposal that came from the Senate side, and Senator Rand Paul is actually making a big push to try to get it stopped right now because instead of passing a clean continuing resolution that opens the government until the end of January of 2026, they put in a provision that would ban some THC products from being produced here in America, and it hurts our agriculture. Um, a lot of agriculture industries have used this as a opportunity to supplement the loss of revenue from other, whether it's other agriculture industry that they are traditionally in. So again, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Now, who put that in the bill? Was it the
The
Republicans?
Republicans.
Oh,
Yeah.
and what's going on with Miss what's her name, Green?
She is in full out war with her party right now.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Because she's calling them out on some of the things that we've been saying, and it's funny because she used to be such a diehard MAGA person.
Yeah.
But you saw her change over during the last speaker fight when she tried to save Kevin McCarthy and couldn't get it done, and now you're seeing her go to war with some of her members more and more. So
Well, she's speaking some truth, and she's no longer a part of QAnon or whatever you call that thing they were on, and
Yeah.
she's really saying some things I'm like shocking, and I guess Trump is kind of careful about how he handled her because he said she's a nice woman, but she's lost her way. I
Yeah.
could tell when he had some reservations about going all in because he usually would call people a wacko or crazy
Mhm.
or something crazy. So I was really impressed with the fact that she put a little fear in him, and we have to be careful and watch out for those type of things as well. But these are some of the topics that I just wanted to grab real fast. But the woman in Congress now, I think while people are going to say, "Well, how are we going to get the files released?" I don't think they're still going to be released. I think they're going to force the vote. That is what's going to happen. But there's two more parts to that whole situation. Once it's forced, then you got to vote. Now, I believe now you're going to put everybody on record. People are going to vote and say, okay, you'll release it. But when it gets over to the Senate, I'm not too sure if they're going to have the stomach to be able to do that. And just so you can answer both questions, and let's say they get the stomach to do it in the Senate. Do you think he's going to sign that into law, meaning the president of the United States?
No, I mean the president wouldn't have to sign it. They can get those files without the president's signature.
I thought,
but it will have to get over the 60 vote threshold in the Senate, the filibuster. So again, to get on the floor for a vote. Now, I don't know where the votes are in the Senate. I do know there's about 4 Republicans who have voiced their concerns, but they have not said they would vote for something like that.
Yeah, it's really, 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 really interesting. And the last thing I wanted to share in my segment today, because I come with my chest out high, and that is I told you that Del State would win by 1 touchdown.
You did.
What happened?
They won by 1. It was a good game. It was a good game. I will say they let up a little bit in the fourth quarter, and allowed 2 touchdowns there,
which is crazy.
But overall, those first 3 quarters, they absolutely dominated the game. It was a game of defense. Both sides' defense stepped up, and played like they haven't played this year. So again, hats off to Del State, who since the last time we've been on the show has won another game, a nail biter against Morgan State, 14-12, I believe. But I heard that the scholarship ball has officially been moved. It's been a tradition to hold it, in a time where usually the MEAC championship is going on. But this year DSU is looking good, and it's looking like they may be going to the big dance.
That's right.
They are undefeated in the MEAC right now. I believe they're number 1. In the MEAC.
In MEAC, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And they're going to get some ranking too. You're going to see. And,
Oh, yeah.
And it's not only based on the fact that they got a star running their team, but he's producing.
Yes.
He's producing.
And people were, again, they thought he wasn't going to be able to produce, but he is doing good. They have, well, as of right now, as we're filming this, we don't know the results of the game, but they would have played Howard yesterday. But again, Howard is sitting, I believe, at 4-6, 1-2 in the conference. There's only 2 undefeated conference people right now, and that is Delaware State and South Carolina State.
Mm.
Same as in basketball, those are the two main ones, with North Carolina Central being the third one. So between Coach Stan Waterman, Coach Jackson, DSU's looking good this year. Let's hope they both bring it home.
That'll be beautiful. That'll be beautiful. Well, that's all I have for this first segment. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Pastor and People's 20th anniversary is right around the corner, and everybody's talking about it. Now we've got even more to announce. So here's a sneak peek at our 5 electric guest preachers coming here to E Zion Fair this December.
You need to understand that when you counted me out, you didn't know that I was a part of what God is building in the earth. You might not think I'm much, but I'm a bad man. All Jesus had to say was, peace be still. And order was restored. Do you know we serve a God who's able to restore order on tonight? And if he can do it in the universe, he can do it in this country. If he can do it on the universe, he can do it in our communities. He does it as we declare the word. That's why some of y'all act a fool in church and run around and sweat, because folk don't know your then. They just see you in your now. And they got the nerve to be jealous of your now. They got the nerve to hate on you now. But you can't want my now if you didn't have my then.
There's a reason that you are still breathing. So bring God your brokenness. Bring God your emptiness. Bring God your worries. Bring God your wounds. Bring God your fears. Trust God to work things out, because God is up to something in your life. Glory to God. It is the picture of the providence of God. Somebody say providence. 2 words that come together. Pro-video in the Latin. Pro-video. It literally means that God goes ahead of us, sees before us, and works out everything we need. So by the time we get there, all we can say is, all things work together for the good of those who love God. Not according to this paper.
So join us December 1st through 6th for our sermon series, and get ready to look your finest for our Black Tie Gala on December 7th at the Chase Center. Buy your ticket today in the lobby and online by scanning our QR code or visiting our Eventbrite page. And if you are interested in a payment plan, please see Deaconess Benson or Sister Lum in the lobby today. See you there, E Zion Fair.
And we're back. Kobe, what's going on with the Kobe Corner this week?
Yeah, so as we talked about a little bit in the last segment, the government shutdown could be coming to an end on Wednesday night, probably into Thursday morning. There will be a vote held by the U.S. House whether or not to pass the continuing resolution that was passed by the Senate earlier this week. Now, what does this mean? If this is passed, it means that the government will open back up and stay funded through January 31st, 2026. So it takes us into a new year. It would officially end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. But the Senate has received a lot of backlash, especially the Senate Democrats who gave their votes to reopen this government. And there has been calls on Chuck Schumer to step down as leader for allowing this to happen. What this means is they have a handshake agreement with the Republicans that in December there will be a Senate vote on extending the ACA tax credits. Now, that may sound good, but Mike Johnson, who is the Speaker of the House at on the House side, has said he's adamantly against any of this, right? Which means without tying it to a continuing resolution or to the budget, it means that there is no pressure for him to actually put it up once it passes the Senate, if it passes the Senate, right? So again, premiums are going to go up for a lot of people because of this action. I believe that most likely a 90% chance that this continuing resolution will pass. Starting in December, your premium will go up anywhere from about 300 or anywhere up to 300%. So again, there will be a lot of people who will be priced out of healthcare. And this is the ongoing attack and decoupling of Obamacare. And Obamacare originally was supposed to be a first step. Here in America, I know the Republicans pitch why universal health care would be so bad, but every developed country has universal health care. The reason why there's so many people who don't want universal health care isn't because they care about, oh, you'll never get to see your primary care doctor. That's not true. they care about is the insurance industry, who puts in millions and millions and millions of dollars each year into an election cycle to have puppets come and spew talking points such as that, while also competing or trying to not pay out their insurance plans to people who've been playing all their life and now they need it. And it's always, oh, didn't read the fine line. You just spent the last 10 years paying your insurance bill, never needed it. And the one time you do, they try to find a way to get themselves out of it. We are the richest nation in the world. We have the highest GDP. We are a national or a global superpower. And we lead the world in people going bankrupt because of medical debt. In the same country that has the most billionaires, we have people who can't even get their right medicine because billionaires want to make a profit. You had Joe Manchin in the U.S. Senate who fought against insulin prices being $35 for the sole fact that his daughter is a CEO of an insulin company that was charging $276 for the same tube of insulin. While it was only costing them $4 to make.
Wow.
And they say, oh, well, this is because we live in a capitalist society. We live in a society that does not care about their neighbor. So again, that's why this fight was so important for Democrats. And it's so disappointing that they caved.
Yeah, well, now Schumer didn't vote for the he didn't vote, he just allowed the other, or
he allowed his whip. The two senators from New Hampshire, the two senators from Nevada, who again are from Democratic states. If anything, the 4 senators who should have voted for this to save their own butts were the 2 senators from Arizona and the 2 senators from Georgia, but they stood on the side of the people. They said it's about more. If I get unelected because of this, let it be. But I'm still fighting for the everyday people. So again, that's what we're dealing with right now. I believe the senator, the majority or minority whip, Dick Durbin, who's retiring. So again, all these things are an issue that we're dealing with.
You know, but the handshake part is what I want to go back to. I just don't understand why they would think this is a good deal, as much as the Republicans have lied about they're going to do this, they're going to do that. To have a vote doesn't guarantee the vote is even going to go your way.
Correct.
So not to tie it, that should have been the only reason why they gave up, is that they now is going to tie it to the bill for the next 30 days. I mean, for the next year rather.
Yep.
Now, I still don't believe though, and you can correct me, that the Republicans are going to allow that to go away right now.
Oh, absolutely not. They have been wanting to go after Obamacare. It's something that they have campaigned on for the last over a decade at this point, right? And it's a winning talking point because they say Obamacare, and they know that there's a lot of racists out there who don't like Obama, who are on the ACA. And again, I tell this story. I know I sound like a broken record. In 2017, I was in Alabama, in the Black Belt, knocking doors, talking to independent voters during the Doug Jones Senate campaign. And I was talking to one guy about how Doug Jones will fight to save the ACA and Obamacare. And he said, oh, well, you know, that Obamacare stuff got to go. And me and a guy, we had a decent conversation, and come to find out he's on ACA. And he was like, yeah, you know, y'all keep saying that he's going to, Trump is trying to get rid of the ACA. He's only trying to get rid of Obamacare.
I didn't know the difference, huh?
And I said, well, sir, they're the same thing. He said, well, why do they have 2 different names? See, you're dumb. You don't know. I said, sir, Obamacare was a joke.
Yeah.
And he said, you're right. I said, you know what? You got this one.
Yeah. He was just
like
lost.
Obamacare was made to be a joke. And Obama owned it, and it became very popular because he did care. That was his flagship legislation. Right. So again, that's what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah. So now we may, but I don't think you directly answered. Do you really think they will not pass a resolution to continue Obamacare until they can get rid of it another way? Because they have no replacement.
No, they will pass this resolution because it gives them the win that they wanted. But they won't pass a bill coming up that will extend the ACA.
No, that's what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
ACA. You believe they are not going to pass the ACA?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh no.
They've already gone after different provisions in there and have won. A lot of these guys have called for the Supreme Court to take the case up yet again. A lot of them campaigned against John McCain because he was the saving vote back in, I guess that was 2017 or 2018. So again, we'll see what happens, but yeah, I don't think
that's going to be a tough
extend.
day in America because there's so many people on Obamacare, and it has caused so many people to be able to find some freedom and to be able to have insurance. It's going to mess up the industry really bad. So I'm surprised the industry is not fighting it.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
Next on my list, I wanted to talk about the reassessment. So we heard that the courts had upheld and ruled with Newcastle County and the state that they could do the split rates. That was taken to the Delaware Supreme Court, and from there was a 3-judge panel, and they have also ruled and upheld that you can do a split rate here in Delaware. So now the next steps for this, and again, I just said I would keep y'all updated on this. The state Senate passed a bill to allow this. Now, they extended the due date for payments until December 31st. Now the special committee will come back and start meeting about how to properly do reassessments going forward as well too. So that meeting will be next week, November the 19th. Okay. And we will have more updates from that. But I just wanted to give you all an update of the legal side of things. But while I'm talking about Dover, the Delaware General Assembly will be coming together for a special session later this week to fix the unexpected $400 million shortfall in the state budget. Here we have something called DFAC, which is the Delaware Economic Financial Advisory Council, predicted that we would lose almost $400 million over the next 3 years due to President Donald Trump's one big, beautiful bill act that passed. So in order to save us from that, the Delaware General Assembly has put forth a bill that will decouple our tax code from the federal tax code. All states have the ability to do this, so it's nothing new. But by doing this, we can set some things that will off counter some of the actions in the big, beautiful bill to try to save some of that money to bring it back in.
Explain to me what you just said. Now, I'm sitting here listening to you, and I pretty much understand, but the viewers may not quite get it. You're saying that the legislators are going to get together to see if they can take away some of the tax.
So, because the big, beautiful bill gives so much in tax breaks,
okay,
the state is looking to decouple our tax code.
In other words, whatever he wants to do, you won't be able to do it in Delaware.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I
at
wanted
the same
to be
level.
that easy.
You can still get those tax breaks at the federal level, but you won't get it
at the state.
At the state.
Okay.
So again, this will bring back some money into the state, not the full amount, but bring back some of that annual money to help reset our budget to make sure that we're not having to do major cuts and everything. So again, it's just making sure everyone pays their fair share. And again, that federal tax bill zeroed out what was annual money for us. So that's why we're decoupling.
Gotcha.
And then lastly, the land bank has been a hot topic since my very first day on council. And we have passed a bill that will give the city council the power to approve public appointments to the land bank's board of directors. Now, the mayor will be the one who will make those recommendations, but it has to be approved by the full body of council.
Okay.
again,
That'll take away the big boys club.
it does. Now, while we were working on this bill, the executive director, Bud Frill, heard about this bill and pushed to get people on the board now. But they all serve different terms. And once their terms are up, whether they're reappointed or not, they have to come back before us and get reconfirmed on that. So again, it's a first step. There's a lot more reforms that have to be done. But the land bank is out of control right now. They are looking to waste $3.9 million of taxpayer dollars by handing a project that Mike Pizicki, the former failed, corrupt, crooked mayor of the city of Wilmington, purchased, put into the land bank, and then now he's going to get for free Gibraltar. Again, after they poured $3.9 million of taxpayer dollars into this. This property is attached to his backyard, and he's going to use it as a space to preserve, but also a venue space to bring in revenue for whatever project he wants to work on. So again, I don't think this is fair. We have projects that could have better been used here in the city of Wilmington. That $3.9 million of ARPA money. So again, it's reeks of corruption. It's funny how Theo Gregory ended up in the paper over $40,000. I'm not justifying anything Theo did, but he ended up in the paper in a lawsuit, and I believe he lost his law license or was suspended for a while over $40,000 that he gave to a nonprofit that he was associated with. This is $3.9 million. But
There's a major difference between Theo and them.
It is.
And one is privileged and the other one is not.
Yeah, we could say that. But again, this is very concerning to me. And I think that we need to address this, quite frankly, and not allow the mayor to be associated with anything.
Now, I always like to start trouble. So the question is, you all voted so that they would have to come through you all, or through the city council, whoever's on city council at the time, so that we can get rid of the good old boys club appointments. How did that vote go?
It was 13 yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was unanimous.
Wow. Bud Frill did not penetrate that group.
He tried.
Interesting.
But I think everyone saw the writing on the wall.
Okay.
But Bud was very upset. Bud was there that night, and he was trying to strong arm some council people, but there was no room to fight.
And what about the people who are on the board now? Do they
get to stay?
How long is a term?
Yeah. So again, one of the issues is their bylaws is not public, and it should be. But from our understanding, their terms are 4 years. There are some who have been on here and never been reappointed, never voted on again. That will, again, it comes up before us on when we have to, it's on us to pay attention to who's up. But if it's 4 years, then they're supposed to be staggered. So we should be voting on at least one every year.
Okay. And how many members on the board about?
It's 4 appointments.
4 appointments.
Yep.
And they all from the mayor's office?
The mayor would make the recommendation for the people now.
Before now?
No, so the board would make their own, recruit their own people.
So the mayor used to appoint the chair?
No, the mayor doesn't appoint the chair. The mayor has, by virtue of their departments, have some people on there. So real estate and housing, land use and planning, and I believe there's one other, finance. Those 3 department heads appointed by the mayor are automatically positions on there. City council has 3 positions on it automatically: the council president, the finance chair, and the chair of community development and urban planning, who are automatically on. And then the governor gets 1 appointment, the speaker of the house gets 1 appointment, and the Senate pro temp gets 1 appointment as well.
Okay. Well, we're going to see, because there's a whole lot of property that they get, and they do a whole lot of different weird things, and I guess we're going to be paying close attention to that, especially since we're trying to get more affordable housing.
Yes.
Let's take a moment and talk about that, and then because were you finished with your?
Yes,
yours?
I am.
I just want to take. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about homelessness in the city right now, and what are we really trying to do? Is there a real vision for that? Because there's a lot of people who are suffering, and some people are in a house, but they're suffering, and they're trying to survive multi-generations in that one home. And I want to talk a little bit about that for those of you watching. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
It's gonna be real good.
Zion Fair is hosting its most extravagant celebration yet. Join us on December 7th for the Pastor and People's 20th Anniversary Black Tie Gala event. Be ready to move, because our special guests are bringing the music and soul that'll get you jumping out of your seats. You're not going to want to miss these 3 musical giants. Welcoming the illustrious voice of Kiera Clark Sheard.
Hang on in.
The incomparable piano talents of Twinkie Clark. And the majestic music of Karen Clark Sheard. Don't miss this rare opportunity to hear these gospel legends perform. So be there at the Chase Center at 7 p.m. on December 7th. Get your tickets in the lobby after service, at the front office during the week, or anytime online on our Eventbrite page. And don't forget to ask about our layaway plan.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. MDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
This land is your land.
This land we love belongs to all of us. Yet not everyone is treated equally. Right now, millions of Americans are fighting for the things promised to all by the Constitution. Learn how the ACLU is defending the right to vote, free speech, and other civil liberties at myaclu.org.
And we're back. Kobe, as we were finishing up the last segment, I wanted to talk a little bit about homelessness in our city, and even the camp site where you all have permitted, when I say you all, I mean the administration and council, have permitted the homeless individuals to be able to stay. Do you think that the homeless problem is getting any better in our city?
No, and it's a few reasons because of that. I know the mayor had a press conference, and what was taken away was we were legalizing homelessness in a park, and all homelessness comes from Philadelphia. And my friends on the Philly City Council, and I'm sure the mayor, did not take kindly to that. But we do have an issue that, we know of some nonprofits who are literally driving vans down here and dropping off in Claymont and Wilmington. But we have a homegrown problem as well, too. We have people who are being priced out, people who are not getting the proper mental health resources that they need as well, too. people who are being cared for by their aging parents. And when they're passing away, when the parents are passing away, they have nowhere to go. And they have underlining issues as well too. Um, while I believe that we should not criminalize the homelessness, I don't think just making everyone go to one park is the right move. I think the biggest thing that we have to do right now in this time is build more affordable housing and build more shelter.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's one of the things I want to talk about, because even with the shelters, if the services are there, I'm with it. But I don't want any more shelters if we're not going to have the services.
correct.
Because just to have a person you can come here and sleep and then leave is just not anything I'm really interested in, unless we can get some
Mhm.
services to get these people help. But affordability in the city of Wilmington is really becoming a problem.
Yeah.
I even watch some people who said they're building affordable housing, and they got grants to build some of these houses. And I just don't see how you can take, like, for example, in South Bridge, I think the medium income is like $60,000, which I know it is not true for this particular area.
Well, yes, but also Southbridge is considered in the same census tract as the riverfront,
And that's
which
why.
brings it up.
Mm.
If you look at my area, and my opponent for city council was a councilman, but also the chair of the Delaware Affordable Housing group, and they built housing in our district, and that same housing is selling for $329,000. Not a single person from the state of Delaware has been able to afford to move in there. All of them have been out of town. They're nice people, don't get me wrong, but it's not affordable, especially when the average medium income for our area is $36,000. It doesn't matter how great your credit is. A bank is not going to give you the money to go ahead and get a 15-year loan for a
30.
house that is
30.
30. That is $328,000, right? So again, who are they building for, right? Because we need something that fits as the issue for the individuals who are here currently right now. We're going to see more people out on the street. While those houses were being built, we have people who was homeless staying in them during the wintertime, but also sleeping in the graveyard right next door. We have people who are sleeping on the steps of the Chase building, not the Chase Center, but the Chase Bank, one of the most profitable banks out there. We have people sleeping on their steps at night. This is a issue that has affected all corners of this city. And until we invest our time, our resources, and our money into the right solutions, we're not going to be able to fix this whatsoever. The last council meeting, I passed a resolution that will establish a subcommittee under my Health, Environmental, Aging, and Disabilities Committee, solely focused on homelessness. And their goal is to come up with policy solutions and budgetary solutions to address this homelessness issue. I feel as though the task force did its job and made some recommendations for the mayor's side. Now, us as a council needs to work together and get this stuff done. So again, we have a lot of work to do for our city. And it starts by doing it in a humane way with a moral compass of not just pushing people off to the side, not just locking people up, but getting them the resources they truly need.
And that's where I am very much, because I think that we overlook the resource part.
Mhm.
When we bring people out of prison, we just don't provide the resources, and they end up going back. And going back to not the homeless, but the affordability. I look at some of the houses that are being built, even here in South Bridge. And I know they get ready to move on the Palmer situation. That's getting ready to be tore down, and the houses are going to be built here. And I just can imagine, and they're affordable housing. But you said something that was true. When you live in Philadelphia, when you live in New York, and you come to Delaware and you see a house of $300,000, that's like affordable. You know what I'm saying? Because where they're coming from, that same house would be $700,000.
Right.
Okay, but you said something that I don't think people should to overlook. For Delawareans, it's not working.
Correct.
For outside, it is working, and I think we really need to figure out how we can provide services, but we also need to figure out how we're going to handle this whole because we're going to have more homelessness if we don't get this affordable housing stuff together. So I'm just really concerned. And then the last thing I really wanted to grab is the redistricting, the school board.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of different meetings and a lot of different anger now. And I just don't see, I looked at all three districts, okay, all three proposals. I'm leaning towards one, but I don't think that the state of Delaware, the senators and legislators, I don't think they got the stomach to even do any of them.
I don't either. And I think, as you know, there was supposed to be a vote last Thursday. That was now pushed till December. They've been pushing the ball down the hill for the last 20 years.
Thank you for saying 20 years.
And, we're putting pressure on them. I think Senator Lockman is doing a great job with trying to put pressure on them. But again, it's going to take boots on the ground in Dover. And also, we got to look at some of our Wilmington representatives and some of the ones who are being the loudest the voices out there right now are also the same ones who are allowing it to be pushed down year after year after year. They've sat on these task force time and time and time again.
Well, it's time to start calling them out.
So again, we'll see how this vote goes.
Yeah, because I'm going to be very much involved in taking some buses down to Dover. My congregation is statewide.
Yeah.
So I'm telling, let's talk to our representatives from our districts, like the Speaker of the House, I think, who was defeated by Harris, I think
Smith.
By Smith, I can't think about Kamala. By Smith, she wouldn't listen, and then as soon as Smith came on the scene, we were like, "Hey, we're gonna show her better than we can tell her."
Yeah.
Now she's out of a job, and I think the more we start going to our own representatives saying, "Look, Wilmington matter." It's not a place. Wilmington is the largest city in the state of Delaware. It's a disgrace that we don't have a high school here. It's a disgrace that our kids have to get on the buses and travel starting 6 o'clock in the morning. It's a disgrace that they have nothing to be able to show forth that people care. For 20, 25 years, it's been a lot of conversations. It's been a lot of talk. And I had Dr. O, I had a conversation with her, and she's going to come on the show because I asked her to come just talk a little bit about her work that she's done. I think that was a good hire. Based on my conversation with her, it was a good hire. She's researched well, and I was very impressed with it. But at the end of the meeting, I'm still saying, we've been talking about this. We've been talking about this when Moyer Academy was going through what it was going through and all those charter schools was going through. I mean, you can say what you want to say about Theo Gregory. He did want to try to help children who are underprivileged and who are disadvantaged. But the problem always is that the people in Dover just want to keep kicking the ball. And at what point are we going to stop kicking this ball?
Right.
And like you said, if by some chance, when we get to the next part and they kick this down the road any longer, we're going to have to start speaking up for real. Calling people out.
I agree with you 100%, and it's going to take a lot of community organizing.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be a part of that group. Just going to make sure we're going to Dover, and we're talking to our legislators, and we're talking to not just the ones from Wilmington, but you said something. You keep saying things that are really good. We got to talk to our legislators here first. They need to be on the same page. And we don't have anybody like remember John Street used to talk about the people they had who pulled everybody in the room and say, listen, this is the way it's going to be. We don't have that anymore. Everybody's their own island.
Yep.
They do what they want to do. And nobody holds them accountable because once they get elected, they're elected. And I think that's just so sad. So I don't know, but we're gonna see how it all turned out. And I just pray that that Wilmington children are treated better.
Yeah.
Okay, you were able to be a product of Wilmington, but your mom made sure that you were done right. Okay, every parent is not doing what they need to do, but somebody else got to be the voice for that child, who parent may not be astute to do the things they need to do. So that's all I have for you today. You got anything else?
That's all I have for today.
Well, the show has been interesting today, but we got through it because you took a time off and you shouldn't take no more time off. But next week we're gonna come back way more organized. But I just hope and trust that you all will be safe. I hope and trust that you will be thinking before you're reacting so that we will be able to do what we have to do to stay in a loving community and love each other. Wilmington is one of the best places in the world.
It is.
And not only Wilmington, but Delaware is one of the best states in the world. So I pray that we will do what we got to do. Is there anything else on your docket for the day?
That's all I have. Again, I know holiday time is coming up, so please Be safe. Be aware that there is still COVID-19 that is going around. So please take care of your health so you can be with your family on Thanksgiving.
Well, you got the last word. Till next time, God bless.
Take care, y'all.
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry and co-host Kobe Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.